Hey everyone, it's Charlotte from the Kia Hyundai Channel, and today we are back with some more Hyundai content. So today the vehicle that I have with me is the 2022 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Ultimate All-Wheel Drive. That was a lot of words. It's always a mouthful whenever I introduce this vehicle. For those of you who are new to the channel, or for those of you who have been sticking around for a little bit longer, you may have seen this video. We put it head-to-head with the 2023 Sportage because we know that the 23 Tucson is more than likely going to be a carryover model, so we wanted to compare the difference between the two. But today's video we are dedicating just to this lovely, gorgeous vehicle because, like I said, it will be comparable to the 23. So to start off, we're going to do an exterior walk around. First things first, this color, it is the deep sea blue, and it is gorgeous. I'm not too sure how it's appearing on camera, but it's a very pearlescent paint, and it's got lots of dimension, especially with the light as well. It's definitely one of my favorites. Hopefully it doesn't look too black on camera. So when it comes to design elements, something that Hyundai has been doing recently is they have integrated this dark chrome. I typically refer to it as gun metal, but it is definitely a darker chrome on the parametric grille. I think it looks really sharp, and I think it looks a little bit more modern than just going with the typical standard silver chrome that we see a lot. On the front as well, you do have a full LED units. So of course your fog lights, your daytime running lights, your headlights, they're all LEDs, and I'm going to turn those on in just a minute. And then also down here, these little dots, they are parking sensors, which are used with all of the different safety features we have. So I am just going to turn on the lights real quick. This way you guys can see them. Go. And then I also put on the signal light. It's just beeping because I, of course, have the key right here. So we'll give it a couple minutes for that to settle down. But this way you can see what the LEDs look like. On camera, they're more than likely going to be flickering for you, giving you kind of that disco light vibe. But I assure you, it's just because they're LEDs. They're not actually flickering like that in person. But you can see your nice amber signal light on this side. And then also that it's all LEDs, and they do have a nice sharp cutoff. So visibility at the night is definitely not going to be a problem. You're definitely going to be able to see in front of you, and other vehicles are definitely going to be able to see you coming too. I'm going to leave the lights on just for right now. That way we can take a look at the rear. We'll take and walk around the side too. So we have lovely 19-inch wheels here. And again, you can see the nice rim design. I actually really do like the wheels on this car. It's nothing new. We have seen them before, but I think that this is a nice design. And then we'll come to this side as well. On this vehicle, we do have a lot of black accenting. You'll see a lot of our trim on the bottom of our scuff plate is all going to be black accenting. You have half body colored mirrors. So again, that nice blue color with some black on the bottom. Your amber signal light as well, and then also your side view camera. So that's going to be used for your blind spot monitoring, which I will show you when we get into the car as well. On the side, you can see that we have lots of geometric designs going on. They're really playing with lines and different architectural elements. Some people, because design is personal, love it. Some people hate it. I've looked at this car, and in certain lights, I'm like, oh my goodness, did somebody hit that car on the lot? And then in other lights, when I stand kind of here, I'm like, oh no, I see the design. I think it looks really good. But again, design is something that's personal. If this is not the look for you, if you want something a little bit cleaner, then perhaps the Sportage might be the vehicle for you. And then we'll come around to the rear as well. Again, you can see we have nice LEDs on the back, and then also your signal light is at the bottom. And now something I want to point out about this vehicle is, at a glance, you can't really see the rear wiper, but it does have one, because my pet peeve is when vehicles do not have a rear wiper. I love having a rear wiper no matter what the vehicle is. And this one is actually tucked just underneath the spoiler, and it does swipe down. Also, something to note is that this logo, it's actually not, you can't feel it. It's actually in the glass. And again, they are using the more silver chrome here. I personally wish that they used the darker chrome on the back just to make it a little bit more consistent, but I get the need to use silver chrome to give it a little bit more of a highlight from a design standpoint. That makes sense. And then we'll open up the trunk as well. You do have your smart lift tailgate, which is great. and you can adjust the height and the speed as to which the trunk opens. And you can see that we have lots of room in this trunk. You also do have a cargo cover, so if you don't want anyone to see what you're putting in your trunk, see what you're picking up from the superstore or anything like that, you do have that. And there's tons of space. You know, this is me to the cargo cover. I'm about halfway in. To the side for some dimensions. So definitely tons of space in this vehicle. You won't have a problem loading in your groceries or anything else that you need to put in. Some of the other elements that we have here in the trunk, I'll just show them. You do have a light here to the side. I'll have Mark, our cameraman, pan over. And then also you have a 12-volt outlet too. So we will close up this trunk. And now we're going to walk around back to the front of the vehicle just to give you another side view of the vehicle. That way you can see it in its entirety. Again, still just beeping because the key is not in the car. And speaking of key, I actually want to show it to you because it is a little bit different. So it's not the slim design that we see from Kia that I personally really like. This is more of a flat egg shape. Not my favorite key design, but what's cool about it is what we have on it. So obviously you have your lock, you have your unlock. This is your auto hold for the trunk to open it, your panic button, remote start, and then the interesting part is really these two buttons. This vehicle, it does have smart park, collision, avoidance assist, all of those words, where what I can do is actually using these buttons is I can bring the vehicle forward or backwards, whether I'm inside the vehicle or outside of it, which is very handy for parking and bringing your vehicle out from those tricky parking spots. Of course, I know everyone who's watching this video is a pro at parking, but for someone like me who likes to go to the mall and can sometimes get into a tight spot, this is something that has definitely been very handy for me. The last thing I'll just mention while we're up at the front of the vehicle is going to be our specs. So what is this vehicle equipped with? It does have a 6-speed automatic hybrid all-wheel drive transmission, and then 1.6-liter turbo, 4-cylinder GDI engine as well. For horsepower, that is 227 and then 258 pound-foot of torque as well. So a lot more torque than you would expect for this vehicle. And its combined fuel economy is going to give you 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. So with that being said, let's hop into the inside of the vehicle. All right, everyone, so now we're going to start taking a look inside the vehicle. We'll get into the driver's seat, which is obviously the best seat in the house. But first, before we get into the driver's seat, we're going to talk about the door, we're going to talk about the seat itself, and then we'll actually get into the cabin. So for the door, you can see that they have a lot of different design elements. We have a lot of different materials and textures here. So we still have the soft touch leather, we have the piano black, a little bit of the silver chrome to highlight, and then also some soft touch fabric that actually has a little bit of texture to it. So it's very nice that they've carried a lot of the design elements from the outside of the vehicle to the inside to make it more of a cohesive and functional driving experience, because let's be real, there's a lot going on in the body of this vehicle. For some of our tech and comfort features on the door, we do have memory seats. If you've watched any of our previous videos, you know that I am a huge propitiant for memory seats. I love memory seats because I am short and my husband is significantly taller than I am. And it's a feature I never knew that I needed until I didn't have it anymore. So I love that this has memory seats. Also for your windows, or not your windows, I did this last time too. Your mirrors, you do have your electronic controls for mirrors. They do not automatically fold in though when the vehicle is in park. Also your windows, you do have express windows for both the driver and the passenger, but not for the two in the rear. So that's a little bit of a bummer. On the bottom, you do have a little convenience pocket here, so you can put your phone, you can put your water bottle in there, that's completely fine. And for those of you who are a premium sound system fan, you do have Bose speakers equipped in this vehicle. So now we can take a look at the seat. I'll hop in here. And you can see that we definitely have lots of ways, lots of variables in adjusting our seat. So we can go forward, back, up, down. For the backrest, you can bring it forward and back, of course. And then also you do have 4-way lumbar support. So if you are like me and you have a bad back and you need a little bit more support, this vehicle will always love and support you. It's like a nice little hug. I'm going to have Mark come around to the other side of the vehicle and we'll get into the cabin. All right, so I'll start by having Mark. He is our cameraman for today, so give it up for Mark. I'll have him do a quick pan, just that way you guys can see the interior of the vehicle. So you can see we've got our dash, We've got our display and then glove box. Awesome. You've got manuals in English and in French, so don't worry, you've got it covered. Mark, you can hop into the car if you want. And then what we're going to take a look at first is we'll start with the steering wheel and of course what we have behind the steering wheel. So looking at our dash, so you will see that it is fully electric as well, and it is adjustable. So it does change as you change your drive modes and terrain modes, which I'll show in a little bit. And then let's talk about the steering wheels. So first thing that my eyes are directed to is you do have paddle shifters. Like I said, we have the 6-speed automatic hybrid all-wheel drive transmission. And with these vehicles, whenever you have a hybrid from Kia Hyundai, you do have the button or shift-by-wire gear shift, whether it be the buttons or the dial. So with these, because it's not the traditional lever where you can just push it over and flip the vehicle into manual mode, you do have your paddle shifters. That way, if you need to gear down, you definitely can. On this side of the steering wheel, we have what I like to call your media controls. So your virtual assistant for your phone, if you need to do a text or a speak command. I was going to say text to speak, but it's not text to speak. Also cycling through your various media modes like AM radio, FM radio, Bluetooth, etc. Changing the volume, changing the channel, calls, and then also your favorites button, which you can set if you want that, say, to take you right to media, or if you want it to take you right to end call, you can do that as well. And then over here are more of going to be your driving controls for your cruise control. So this vehicle, it does have smart cruise control. So there's a lot that goes into having smart cruise control. Not only do you have, the typical features that we all know and love when it comes to cruise control, but you do have lane keep assist and lane following distance as well. So lane following distance is going to keep you, you're allowed to set the distance on the length that you'd like to maintain between the vehicle ahead of you and your vehicle, and it will keep you at that distance. And then lane keep assist is going to keep you centered in your lane as well, which is really nice. And it does have highway drive assist 1, 2, with the smart curve. So using the navigation, if you are on a busy highway and there's a curve, it will actually take the curve of the road for you while you're driving with your cruise control enabled. So that's something that's definitely interesting. Now let's talk about what we see in the dash as well. Oh, one more thing about the steering wheel. It is fully heated all the way around and leather wrapped. So that is very good for winter because we do live in Canada. Now we can talk about the dash or the display. On this vehicle, you do have the bigger screen. You have the 10.25-inch screen. And let's go through it a little bit. So of course, because this vehicle is a hybrid, you do have the hybrid button here. So you can see the energy flow and how hard the electric motor is working. Also, some other features this vehicle has is quiet mode, so that will dampen the speakers in the rear. It's nice to have that in a bigger SUV because a lot of people think that if you have, sleeping children or people in the back, you're automatically driving a van, but you don't need to do that. You can still drive a nice sporty SUV and still get that nice feature too. You do have HD radio, Blue Link as well. And then I'm actually going to go to setup because this is going to show a lot of the different safety features that this vehicle has. And this way it also shows you if you want to change any of these safety features. So some of the safety features that this vehicle is equipped with is forward safety. So that's going to be a forward collision avoidance assist, where pretty much if there is a vehicle that is slowing down in front of you and your vehicle essentially is not going to stop in time, it's going to provide a warning. And also apply pressure to the brake to help mitigate a collision. You also have lane safety, so I've already talked about that when it comes to smart cruise control. Blind spot safety is something that is definitely great. I'm actually going to start the vehicle for this one because when I put my turn signal on, you will see that you can actually, using those cameras that are on the mirror, you can take a look at what is in your blind spot, and it does work both ways. So that's a great feature to have as well. And I'll flip this back on. It is on. There we go. Oh, general. Hitting the wrong thing, that's why. Man, you'd think I'd know this by now. There we go. And we're going to go back to lane safety. Blind spot. This vehicle also has safe exit warning. So pretty much what that is it will prevent you from opening your door if it is unsafe to do so. So say if there is a vehicle coming to the side, or a pedestrian or something like that, and you're just ended. That was a hole. Sorry about that. So some of our other safety features that we do have is for parking safety. So you do have surround view monitoring on this vehicle because, as we see, this vehicle is equipped with cameras all over it. So I'll actually show you that right now. So as you can see, we've got our rear view camera, and as you turn the wheel, it's actually going to adjust to your turning radius. That way you know where the back of the vehicle is going to end up. Over here, you also have your bird's eye view 360 mirror as well. And these are actually the cameras that are on the mirror. So you can see as I open my door, it'll change it. So you can see pretty much what is outside of your door. So if you ever need to check where the lines are in your parking spot, this is a great way to do so if you don't just want to look at your mirror, but you can do either way, of course. And this is more so of your hitch view. So if you are towing something with this vehicle, this is good for lining up the hitch, also seeing where it is. So that is going to be the bulk of the safety features that this vehicle has. So we'll talk a little bit about what we see on the dash. So the Sportage, if you're familiar with the 23 Sportage, it has the large supervision cluster. And for heating controls and then also for volume controls, it has a interchangeable kind of interface. This one, you actually do have real buttons and you can see everything laid out for you. So you don't have to switch between.
It's having nice,
It's okay.
I'll just keep rolling.
Yeah, sure. I'll just go from where I was. So now let's talk about the design of the actual dash. If you guys are familiar with the Sportage at all, you'll know that it has the large supervision cluster on the 23 model, and it has a interface where you actually have to change between your media controls and also your climate controls. This vehicle, as you can see, we actually have real buttons, which is something that is really nice. Everything is laid out for you, so you don't need to do any swapping between. So of course, you've got all of your media controls up at the top. This start button, like on the steering wheel, is also for your favorites, which you can preset. And then also you have all of your media controls on the bottom, which makes it a lot easier to use. The only complaint that I do have about this display is that it is all framed in the piano black. And piano black is just, it looks great, but it is a fingerprint magnet. So sometimes what Gabby and I will do is we'll actually have little glasses cleaning cloths in our car and just wipe it off sometimes, because for me, I like everything to look nice and neat, and the piano black just doesn't quite do it for me. But I do like having the actual practicality of all of the buttons available. As we move down, we'll see down here, this is going to be for your wireless charger. And you'll know that your phone is charging wirelessly when this orange light at the top is illuminated. Now, a hot topic in this vehicle is that it is wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's not the wireless. I typically find that I get better connectivity with the wired CarPlay anyways. So that's something that doesn't bother me, but some of the lower trims, they do have wireless Apple CarPlay, believe it or not. Not sure why they didn't include it on this model. So that is something that doesn't really bother me much, but it might be something that's big for you, at least until they work out all of the bugs and kinks with the wireless Apple CarPlay. So with Apple CarPlay, of course, you do have a USB for connectivity, and then you also have one for fast charging as well. Looking here in the center console, you do have your heated and ventilated seats for both the driver and passenger, your heated steering wheel. This is going to be for your parking sensors. So of course, as you get close to things in the front or in the rear, it's going to start to beep at you. You can turn that off if you don't like the beeping. And then here is the cameras, which we've already gone over as well. This little dial is going to be for your drive and terrain modes. So I'll actually have Mark focus on the dash, and we'll take a look at the different drive modes. So we have Eco, Sport, and Smart. And for terrain modes, we have Snow, Mud, and Sand. If you're in the US, you may not have terrain modes, but we do have them in Canada. For drive modes, I want to talk a little bit about a misconception that people can have when it comes to driving in eco mode. A lot of people think that if your vehicle is in eco mode, you're going to get the best fuel efficiency no matter how you drive. Unfortunately, if you do like to be a bit of a spirited driver, I'll say, and really go heavy on the throttle, it's not going to give you the best fuel efficiency. You do need to kind of let the technology do its job, and still, there's always sport mode if you want to be a little bit extra spirited. And it's red, so it's nice and sporty. I feel like it fits the atmosphere of sport mode. The chaotic energy of sport mode. Taking a look again, we've got your button gear shift, which I've mentioned. You do have your electronic parking brake. Sorry about that, we were having a little bit of camera troubles. Over here, like I mentioned, this is going to be your electronic parking brake. You just flip it up. It's nice and easy to have equipped. And then also your vehicle does have auto hold. So what that means is when this is pressed down, is when you come to a full and complete stop, you are actually able to take your foot off the brake and it will hold you there. This is something that I love to use in drive-thrus, and we actually have put it to the test. So if you want to see some of these features in real life action, I will make sure that I link that video down below. Up at the top, guess I should actually turn the, yeah, there we go. You do have some LED lights, and then also you do have a lovely full panoramic sunroof. I just opened up the shade and you can see that the shade is fully powered. Now the sunroof does not open to the full extent as it shows. It only opens about this way. This is the furthest that it goes. And I'll have Mark show you from the top. You can see that we do have a nice little bug net there. So that will help decrease the amount of bugs that are coming into the vehicle, because who wants that? We'll take a look now just at your glove box. Nothing too special here. You don't have any extra compartments, no secrets or anything like that. It is relatively deep. Goes to about there for me, so you can probably fit a water bottle and other good little things in there. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the front. One last thing I will mention. I'm not too sure if you can see it here, but we do have a bit of ambient lighting. You do have the 64 ambient lighting in this vehicle too. Now let's hop into the back seat and we can talk about what we've got there. All right, so last up on the Tucson grand finale is we have the back seat. So I'll have our cameraman show you the back seat as well. You can see that we have the same type of seats in the rear that we did in the front, and you can see the nice perforation on them because, believe it or not, these seats are heated. So your backseat customers, not customers, your backseat riders, they're going to be very comfortable in these seats, whether it's winter or whether they just run cold like me and always need their heated seat on. Plus, helps my back. We all know I have a bad back now. Some of the other tech and comfort features that we do have in the back seat is you do have a cargo pocket. The benefit of the net cargo pocket is that it does stretch more than the leather one. Of course, the benefit of the leather is if you put a laptop or iPad, you can't really see it from anyone who's looking in your windows. You also do have rear vents. I love it when manufacturers include rear vents coming back to the rear passengers because it can get stuffy, it can be a lot, and it's nice to actually have some airflow coming back here too. You also do have 2 USBs for fast charging, so there's never an excuse to have a dead phone when you are in this car. And then in the center, of course, we have our cup holders, so nothing too crazy here, very standard, but an excellent feature. If your car doesn't have cup holders, you need to get with the game. I'll have Mark just show the door too, and you can see that even on the rear doors, they've continued with a lot of the styling elements when it comes to the soft touch material, when it comes to the piano black. And then you can also see that you've got your heated seats there, and then also a bonus little cup holder too. All right, everyone, so that is going to conclude us doing our exterior walk around and interior review of the 2022 Tucson Ultimate Hybrid all-wheel drive. Again, never gets easier for me to say that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm curious as to what your thoughts are between what we're going to see with the 23, between what this looks like against the Sportage 2. And if you haven't seen our video putting this against the Sportage, I'm going to have that link down below, so make sure that you check it out. As always, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any videos that you want us to do, given the inventory shortage, please comment them down below because we would love to make them for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!